Hello and welcome to episode 2. In this episode we're going to build a basic web page and we're going to go over some of the basic tags that we're going to need along the way. So we're going to take off from where we left off last time, which is with this hello world page, and we're just going to actually get rid of that and we're going to put in a title. And in order to put in a title we need to use an H tag. And there's actually 6 different H tags that you can use. So there's H1 through to H6. The lower the number, the higher the priority. You're only ever going to have one H1 tag on the page, because that's the main header. That kind of helps with SEO and stuff like that, but I wouldn't worry too much about that stuff just now. But you can have multiple H2 because they're your subheaders, and H3 tags and so on. You're rarely going to use H4 and H5, things like that. So, yeah. So let's start off with that then. So we'll put in an H1 tag. Just call it my awesome website. There we go. And another thing every web page needs, or almost every web page anyway, is a subtitle. So we'll just put in an H2 tag. It really is awesome. Exclamation mark. Right. So another thing that you're probably going to need is some text, a paragraph. In order to do that you need a P tag, so we'll just insert it like that. Pretty standard, again it just follows the same concept as before. Because this is going to go on multiple lines, what I'm going to do is I'm going to indent that there. And another neat trick is if you take lorem and then put tab in there and Sublime, this isn't Sublime, this is Cloud9. It's going to autocomplete and put in some lorem ipsum text, and we're just going to, for the sake of readability, do that. In fact, what you can do is set the editor to wrap text, but I've not got that set at the moment, so we'll just continue on now. So you've got your paragraph of text. Let's actually run this and see what we've got so far. Again, I'm going to take this out of here and stick it in this tab. So there you go. You can see that although we have put in a return here, it hasn't actually translated across to this, and that's because you can put as much space in between these as much as you want, but HTML isn't gonna see that, so that doesn't have an effect. Let's just take that out just to make it look nice. So there we go. Got some basic styling on these elements. We can cover how to change that later on in another episode, but we'll just continue on with some of the basic tags for now. So say you wanted to add a link. Let's say we wanted to link that lorem text there to Google, for example. So we'll just put in an A tag for that. It's an anchor tag. And where this differs from every other tag that we've used so far is it's actually got an attribute attached to it. So what we'll do is we'll just put the tag in first, and I'll show you how this works. So we're just going to link this one word. Put in the ending tag there just after it, so that's the word that gets linked. So obviously we need to tell it where it needs to link to. So that in order to add an attribute, you come to the opening tag here, and just after the A you're going to add href, and you're going to put in some quotes there, and we're just going to go to Google. So it's http google.com. Save that, and we'll come back to here, and you can see it's gone blue. Click that and we've been taken to Google. So that's the first tag that we've noticed that is slightly different from the norm. Other tags do have built-in attributes as well, but we'll cover that later on. The next thing you might want to do is add a list. There's actually 2 kinds of lists. There's an ordered list and an unordered list. And where this again differs from some of the basic tags you've been using already is you actually need to use 2 different tags in order to do a list. You need to have a parent tag and the set of child tags. And the parent tag obviously just contains them and tells it where your list starts and ends. So we'll put in an unordered list first. So just UL, and then put a tab in there. And then in order to add a list item, you're going to add LI for list item. Just call that 1. What we'll do is we'll copy this. To 3. And before we refresh this, we're going to have another kind of list. It's an ordered list. I'll show you what the difference is in a minute. So that's OL for ordered list. And again, we'll just copy these because the list item is the exact same. We're going to save that and we'll come across here. And you can see that an unordered list is just a bullet point list. And an ordered list is just a numbered list. So that will automatically put in the number for you. You're also going to use lists for things like menus and things like that, so we'll cover that. That's a bit more advanced, but that's that for now. Right, the next kind of tag you're going to come across is a self-closing tag. And what a self-closing tag is, it's just basically an opening tag with no ending tag, so it's just the one tag essentially. And something that's changed since HTML5 came in, and something you'll see in a lot of these other tutorials, which is old and outdated, is as a trailing slash, and I'll show you what that is in a minute. But that's no longer required, and I'm not even sure they're actually called self-closing tags anymore. But what we'll do, let's give you an example of that. So we've got, let's say we want to add an image. An image is a self-closing tag because it doesn't need to contain any text or anything like that. So we'll do an image, and like the link tag, you need to tell it where the image is. So we're just going to do src, which is source. I'm going to close it off. Now what you would normally have had to do before is, because this doesn't have a second tag, is you'd add a slash there, but that's no longer part of HTML, or at least HTML5. So we need to find an image for this. So we're just we're going to use an external image for now, but we'll show you how to put internal images in later. I'm just going to use placehold.it. We'll just copy that basic one there. There we go, just put a placeholder image in. So you just put that link in there. We'll refresh that. And there you go, there's your image. So that's a self-closing tag, so you can see that there's only one tag. Right, and another kind of self-closing tag you might come across is a break tag. And that just essentially adds a line break. So I mean that doesn't have any content, it doesn't have any attributes, so that's why it's a self-closing tag. So if we were to take a look at this text, you can see that even though in the editor we have added line breaks in the editor, but we need to actually put that in HTML for it to take effect. So what we're going to do is at the end of this line, we will add a break tag. So just br, close that off. We'll add one here as well, and then another one here. Oh, actually we don't need to because we've not got another line there. So let's just have a look and see what that does. So you can see that that's put line breaks in here. Which is quite handy if you need to do that. So there we go. In the next episode we're going to cover another kind of tag, and we're going to add some styling, because this looks a bit boring. You're not going to put a website out looking like this, or maybe you will if that's what you want to do. But I'd say we should maybe add some styling in the next episode. So let's take a look at that. And just before I go, I'd like to take a second to thank my sponsor, a2hosting.com. I actually use them for my own VPS hosting, and the reason I like to use them is just because they allow you to scale things like the disk and the RAM independently, unlike some of the competitors. And their support is just fantastic as well. So if you're in need for a decent host, then follow the link in the description. And thank you for watching.